Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with yet another video of the AZ Sports Fan. Thank you so very much for tuning in. I got another special guest here. We have Jets Central in the house. What is going on over there, Ian?
Hey, what's up, dude? Thanks so much for having me on, man.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Thank you so very much. This is basically the thing that I'm doing every single weekend where we try to find a person pretty much doing what I'm doing for the Arizona Cardinals, but for the opposite team that we play for. So now we're bringing the New York Jets. Man, do you want to go ahead and give your channel a quick shout out, just how people can find you?
Yeah, so I mean, I run a pretty much the same exact channel that you do, but for the New York Jets. It's called Jets Central. If you guys wouldn't mind checking it out, that'd be awesome.
Cool, man. Well, appreciate you. Thank you so very much, man. Obviously, right now, Cardinals coming into New York to play the Jets. We have something currently that we didn't want to hear. There was news that came down today that one of your players tested positive for the thing that's currently going on right now. Do you have any news for what's going on, or like who the player is, or is it all hush hush right now?
So as far as like who the actual player is, that's completely like under wraps. Like nobody really knows outside of like the people involved, obviously. But word literally just came out, like just as you were doing your intro, that the game's gonna go on, and it was a false positive.
Yes. Okay, man, that actually freaked me out. That was going to bring me to my next question. Do you think there's going to be a game? So that's really good news. Awesome news that that's a thing now. Cool, man. I was a little worried, to be honest with you, because this whole switching of the schedule, Monday, Tuesday, not only for my own sake watching the Cardinals over the weekend, but for fantasy too, man. There's a lot of implications for fantasy football league, and a lot of people aren't happy. But I mean, you got to take it with a grain of salt. This is really big, thing that's currently going on in the world. So we got to understand that situation. But I have my other question here for you here about Sam Darnold. I'm really curious to find out. Obviously, you guys went with Sam Darnold in the draft. We went with Josh Rosen. Obviously, he didn't last. I have my own indifferences, and I feel bad for Josh Rosen in that whole situation. But seeing what you've seen from Sam Darnold, in your personal opinion, is Sam Darnold your quarterback, or are you guys looking into Trevor Lawrence?
So, and this is like the big question, man. This is like the question amongst like Jets Nation out there. And people won't like my answer, and understandably so. I completely get it, because Sam doesn't have a head coach. He doesn't have an offensive line or wide receivers or a running back.
Yep.
Or in this, the 2020 season, he doesn't have a defense either. But man, if the Jets go winless, or, if we're picking number one overall, I am 110% drafting Trevor Lawrence. Like, at the end of the day, assuming we're the worst team in the league, and then looking at our offensive ranks last year, we were 32. And then like overall, we were like 31 in rushing offense. It was just horrible offensive ranks. For me, I'm moving on. I cannot pass up Trevor Lawrence. I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's kind of the same, predicament that we found ourselves in as well. Having the first overall pick is a stress level like you couldn't believe. Are they going to pick Kyler? Are they not going to pick Kyler? Everybody basically being split up between like the fan bases. It's a crazy time. So if that does happen and you guys get the first overall pick, good luck, man, because it's stressful as a fan. Yeah, it's like no other.
I know, man. I can only imagine, but it's a good kind of stressful.
It is. It is. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm not even going to lie to you. Going into that draft, I wanted to keep Rosen. I was that guy because I just didn't want them to do that to Rosen, or just like, do him dirty that way. The 1 year he had, I mean, granted, Sam Darnold had a lot more time than Rosen did, but I don't know. I just kind of felt like it was a really classless move. But nevertheless, I'm happy with Kyler Murray now. He pretty much shut a lot of haters up, including myself. So I'm really happy with Kyler Murray and see what he can do for the future. Now, this is kind of segueing me over to my next question. Adam Gase, what is your take on him? Do you want him gone? I obviously thought he was going to be the first quarterback. I'm sorry, first head coach out, but obviously Bill O'Brien was the guy.
Yeah. So we saw Bill O'Brien get fired. But man, Adam Gase, like I'm probably like the biggest guy against Adam Gase, if that makes any sort of sense. Like, I hated the hire to begin with, and I don't mean to sound like this guy, like that guy, like Mr. Pessimistic and like,
Right.
oh, the team sucks and this and that. But man, like for the Jets too. By the way, the Jets actually interviewed Cliff Kingsbury, and they let him walk out the door, fly across the country. Kingsbury literally went from the Jets to Arizona,
Yep.
and then he took the Cardinals job. And then we passed. We didn't bother trying to interview Matt LaFleur. We interviewed Matt Rule, let him walk out the door, and we went with Adam Gase, right? So, I mean, it's horrible. And the Cardinals fans, I mean, you guys, we'll realize it on Sunday, like how dysfunctional this team is. I know it is, from afar, it's kind of like, okay, well, they can't be that bad. But I mean, you watch every game, it's just like every facet of the team is just mismanaged. And that's mainly due to Gase.
Right, being the head coach there. Yeah, man, I was actually going to bring that up too, the whole Cliff Kingsbury thing. I don't really know, like, if it was because, we were the last person, we didn't want to let him out, but, or if it was, we got the first overall pick and they automatically knew that Kyler Murray was going to be the guy. I don't know. I don't know the whole situation, but I mean, I'm happy with Cliff Kingsbury. He's shown some, like, being able to be a head coach, but there's some things that we question here as fan bases as well. Like, is it too much for him? Because he's taking over the role of basically play calling and head coach, which is not easy coming in from the collegiate level or just being an NFL head coach in general. It's a lot going on. So right now we're 4 games into the season. These last 2 games that we had against the Lions, which was a loss, which, man, it was pandemonium. We just didn't understand the loss, but also the beatdown that we ended up getting from the Carolina Panthers. That was a game on its own, which doesn't seem like we were in that game at all. So that was a frustrating game on its own. So as far as your fan base goes, does everybody want Gase out?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
100%.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, this is going to bring me to my next question here that I have for you. And I think I was a little, not confused, but I guess a little confused. In this last draft that we ended up getting, I thought you guys were going to go wide receiver. You guys ended up going Mekhi Becton. Do you regret that now, going Mekhi Becton, or do you see him more as a project, but he can become a great left tackle for the future? Or did you want to get a great wide receiver like CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy?
Right. So the Jets were in like one of those weird situations, or fortunate situations. Well, I guess it could be good or bad, however you want to look at it. But no matter who the Jets picked on draft night, whether it was a guy like Becton or Tristan Wirfs was also on the board, Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb or, even a Henry Ruggs, didn't really matter who the Jets picked. We would have been getting a massive upgrade, no matter the guy. So, of course, hindsight's 2020, but I feel pretty confident in saying that I would stick with Becton. Like, if I could go back and redo it, I know CeeDee Lamb is balling and he's looking like he's going to be a future star, but Mekhi Becton has really, really, really impressed me, and I could not be more, happier with the pick.
Perfect. Does he have a lot of playing time right now, or is he just doing like a redshirt year?
No, so he's actually the starting. Well, he's hurt right now, but he's the starting left tackle. First game against Buffalo and the second game against San Francisco, he actually dominated, right? Even against guys like Bosa, Jerry Hughes, he did really, really well, like throwing those guys around the field. And then the Indianapolis game came up week 3, and then he got hurt midway through. But up until the injury, he was doing extremely well. And then in week 4, for whatever reason, he was not healthy enough to start, but he was listed as the backup. And then, of course, the backup left tackle, Chuma Edoga, got hurt in that game, and they put Becton in, and he was only in for a couple plays. But again, a total, mismanagement or low blow by Adam Gase there. Because, I mean, they actually at one point panned the camera over to Becton, and he was like wincing in pain, and it just wasn't a good sight.
Jeez, I mean, you guys have a lot of injuries. That's one thing that's really unfortunate for your team. If it wasn't, Mekhi Becton, then, Bell also went down for a good amount of time. And now, word came out that Sam Darnold isn't starting as well. It's going to be Joe Flacco. So that's interesting. I don't know personally if I think that's better or not. We had really, really bad reps for like starting backup quarterbacks. I don't know why, but we don't really do very good against them. But do you have all the confidence in the world in Joe Flacco?
I wouldn't say I'd have all the confidence in the world, but I do. I think Flacco's our best backup that we've had in years, especially when you look at guys like Luke Falk, Trevor Siemian, guys like that. I definitely think Flacco's a step above those guys. I mean, this is a dude who, yeah, he's like immobile and he's extremely slow in the pocket, just trying to move around and whatnot. But and he's definitely not going to be extending plays, but he can push the ball. And that's something that, Sam Darnold couldn't really do. Josh McCown couldn't really do. Ryan Fitzpatrick couldn't really do. So it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, and, granted, I like Arizona's secondary a lot. So, I don't necessarily know if the Jets will be doing this on Sunday. But if the Jets could really push the ball, that's something that we have not done in years. So I'm actually really, really excited to see kind of if Dowell Loggins, the offensive coordinator, will, pull out the bag of tricks.
Nice. Well, I'm actually really curious to find out as well, especially with these last two games for the Arizona Cardinals. I don't really know exactly what type of team we are, coming off a great win against the 49ers, and then we had the Washington football team, and then laying an egg last week. So we'll see exactly what happens, but I'm excited to find out that we are going to play this coming Sunday. Now, my last question to you here is, how do you think the Jets will do against the Arizona Cardinals? Do you think you guys have a chance, or do you think that's, I know it's kind of hard to say, especially being a Jets fan, but
Yeah, so the one thing that I've seen with Arizona football is that when they don't beat themselves or when they get out of their own way, they do extremely well. When the Cardinals have games with, crazy amounts of penalties, giving up third and longs, that's when I feel like Arizona starts to stumble a little bit. So I feel like if Kyler Murray gets going on the ground and they could just limit penalties and turnovers and just not make stupid mistakes, Arizona's going to win this game. But to answer your question, I think the Jets might hang around for like a quarter, and then we'll start to see Kyler Murray start to do his thing up there.
right, for sure. Okay, perfect. Do you think Adam Gase is going to be gone like sometime during this year, or you think it's going to be like the end of the year?
Man, it's a great question, and I wish I had the answer to it. A
Right.
lot of fans, wanted him gone before the season. Some fans are saying like it's kind of one of those things where it's like every week it's just like what more can go wrong, and with each passing week it's like when is this guy going to get fired, and then like his seat gets hotter, we lose. Seat gets hotter, we lose, and it's just like an ongoing cycle. So we'll see, but from everything that I've like heard and seen on like the internet and Twitter and like talking to different guys and whatnot, they
Hmm.
want to keep Adam Gase for the season. So I just don't know if that's a realistic thing that they can actually do.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've watched your videos before, and I know you said that the ownership has said that they had all the faith in the world, but how much could they really deal with the constant like losing? And I'm pretty sure the New York fan base is calling for his job already. I mean, it's gonna get loud enough, and I don't know. I feel like you're the ownership there just kind of knows how to shut it down. I don't know, like as far as like the noise.
Yeah, I mean, this is a weird year with everything going on in the
True.
world, but it's, and I guess, I was actually talking to my buddy Dalton about it. He runs a Jaguars channel.
Hmm.
We were talking about, if there's a time to tank, in the NFL world, this would probably be the season because there's no fans at these games anyway. So you're not going to, lose out on ticket sales. You're not going to have like, people bringing signs in the stadium and like bags and like wearing it over their head and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens. But as far as Adam Gase goes, I just, I don't think he's the answer, to be honest with you.
That's 100%. I agree with you right there, man. Well, thank you so very much for taking the time for being on the AC Sports Fan on YouTube. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so very much.
Hey, dude, thanks so much for, having me on. It was a blast.
Yeah, man, absolutely. All right, guys, that's all we got. Have a great rest of your day. Go ahead and make sure you check out Jet Central. He does pretty much everything I do, but for the New York Jets. All right, guys, thank you so very much.